again, as well as T1 again are going to be on blue side. So that's 3 times in a row now that they've stayed on the same side.
Yeah, and so we'll see if anything changes up this time around in the draft phase, as Lucian going to be banned by SANDBOX, Varus and Rumble banned by T1. Rek'Sai now banned away by SANDBOX. Still have the global bans on Aphelios and Diana. I'm looking forward to them in LCK 2020. Not so much Diana, but Aphelios.
Oh yeah, I've been playing a ton of Aphelios, by the way. He's really fun.
Oh, yeah, for you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah,
of course. Of course, I'm playing him. You know,
not for the opponents.
Yeah, of course. As I'm leveling up my account, I bought Aphelios, and
Okay.
I've been having a lot of fun in my normal games playing Aphelios against people that have obviously no clue what he does specifically. But we are going to go into picks now, as LeBlanc taken away, and specifically the Varus here. Kind of an interesting ban this time around. At least first pick, which leaves the MF as an obvious R1 pick here for SANDBOX.
Well, MF being hovered and locked in there by SANDBOX. So, heavy MF priority. Olaf. Now, this is one of On Fleek's premier champions that isn't the Camille Jinzhao, which was his rise to fame when he initially got picked up.
True. Different meta back then.
Yep. And now T1 responding with Zyra Khan. And will Aatrox just get locked in one more time?
One more. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Change
okay.
up here. Leona gets picked up, so they're going to avoid any kind of Leona ban shenanigans that we saw in game 2.
1 in 9.
He's
That's
doing
what I
really
like
well.
to see.
You know, he's competing with this summer win rate. You remember? It was like 8% by the end of it.
He's so bad. He's actually so bad. I've never felt so strongly about how awful.
I mean, you've been calling this for how many years now? Like 3? Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. I mean,
Well, there you go.
Just watch him in this game, okay? He'll do some good stuff for the first 6 minutes, and then you're wondering, like...
He's really great at killing the Raptors.
Yeah, he's it's something. Renekton gonna be banned away by SANDBOX, so they're removing that as the classic Elise Renekton combo. Aatrox now gonna bite the dust.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I had to give you one.
Yeah. I'm
So
feeling a
Summit-
bit ayaya after that ban.
Yeah, and so Summit will not have his classic champion to go to. And we're going to see what SANDBOX's next ban is going to be. Were they going to continue to focus top lane? No, it's going to be Kiana. Ends up biting the dust.
Yeah, kind of interesting. We've seen a lot of Kiana out of Fate. I think he played it twice in a row in our first couple of games, but then Dove got subbed in, so definitely a change in terms of the priority of the bans, as Syndra, another champion that Dove has played a bunch. Definitely, I'm looking forward to seeing what Summit and Dove are specifically going to play, so very interesting for me to see this side.
It was looking like it was going to be maybe a blind Azir, but no, now they're hovering Orianna. This is a very old kind of team composition. We're going back a couple years in the past right now. So it's going to be a blind Ori. We'll see what Faker wants to respond to Orianna with. Remember, it's also up against Olaf. There's a Pantheon hover right now. And I suppose with the least, it would mirror the effects of Renekton.
Ooh.
Wow. So Pantheon will end up being locked in. We're going to find out in a second if that's going to be mid or top Pantheon.
Or maybe they lock in some kind of other flex pick to keep it, you know, uncertain for SANDBOX in their final pick.
Well, they need something to reach the back line. And a Pantheon, okay, that does it. There you go. There you go.
That makes it a bit... Are you going to be on KLS? I was getting excited. Faker's going to bring out his Azir. We've seen so many crazy highlights from Faker's Azir. And then, nope, we get Nautilus back. Such is the KeSPA Cup meta, guys.
Summit hovering the Jace, now moving over to the Quinn.
Okay.
So, okay, these are Summit champions. Jace, Quinn, etc. I know I mentioned 2 series ago that Jace is pretty much dead. There's a few top laners in the world that if they
We also mentioned Summit.
Yeah,
Jace,
so, I mean, Summit is one of those players. So, this is going to be Roach's test of strength right now. Now, I'll be honest. I personally, I think I've seen it less than maybe 5 times, or probably even less than that, Quinn versus Pantheon. It is just such a rare matchup that you don't get to really see it all that often. And so how comfortable is both Summit and Roach going to be in it? And I would expect that Summit would have more experience because Quinn she's pretty much absent from the ladder. So.
True, yeah. You don't get a lot of chances to even pick up the Pantheon and then from there go against the Quinn. So Summit definitely bringing in the fun into this game after having that Nautilus pick into the mid lane. Definitely making things a lot more interesting as Quinn is going to be flying around the map and maybe even carrying that ball a little bit here as it looks like the pick ban is done. We are just about ready to jump into Game 4. Will SANDBOX close it out and move on to the finals, or is T1 going to tie this up and make it a 5-game series? T1 Whiting and SANDBOX Whiting. Whiting to both. There, I did it. I said it.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually an immaculate fanfare.
I know. I felt like something was missing, so I just had to throw it in there.
Personally, I've never been so impressed. I really have to hand.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh no. Okay. So we're not gonna have any chaos unfolding. Elise now, yeah, gonna cast the sweeper lens. And everyone knows that they're now moving into the blue side jungle. Spiderling sent into the brush. And will we have a coin flip? I'd be very excited.
Well, I mean, SANDBOX have Olaf, right?
When this happens.
And they could even stick around and go for a follow-up. You know, as people are backing, they know the timing.
No,
okay.
No.
Oh, no, back! Back as fast as you can!
No.
Oh,
no.
Going to the brush. Oh, they all got out. Every single one of them, all 5 members in the same brush, all going to back away.
And that was so close to the game just ending. If all of them got caught right there and died. I think one of the only teams that has ever come back from a 4 or 5 man clean kill opening is, I think Griffin did it in summer. Actually,
Sounds right,
it was
yeah.
The Scion 4-man knockup thing. Yeah, that.
They were playing against, like, Hanwha Life or something.
I don't remember. See, this is where Papa Smithy's missing.
Yeah, he's like, I remember this in 2014.
Yeah,
this happened again.
He actually, he can tell you where the sun was.
Whites up again.
Yeah. he can tell you where the sun was located
Sonic
in the sky.
Boom.
Yeah. What color shirts some people in the audience were wearing.
He remembers what he had for breakfast that same day. The guy is just a savant. How could we ever compete? You know?
He remembers the exact pixel that the champions died on. He's like, of course. Oh, man. SANDBOX fan in the audience isn't amused. Oh, no. Well, here, SANDBOX, starting off, everything is relatively standard so far.
What's your opinion? Oh, I might have to hold off on this.
Yeah, you're going to do the play-by-play.
Yeah, I gotta get ready. I gotta hype myself up for this. Gorilla was thinking about getting in there, and now it's going to be spotted. The fight has started. Heal going to be used to just get out of that one. Cuz knows there's a ward. Going to clear that one out. Was coming in spider form, so probably was communicated that there should be a ward to spot that, but thinking if they could get something out of it, they do. They get the heal, and then move on to also clearing out the ward. So making that lane a bit more passive. But we were looking at the mid lane. What is your opinion on Nautilus mid in general?
So I think Nautilus is really bad when you put him in mid, because what'll end up happening this game, you'll see it. He'll be level 10 when his support's level 8. He'll have a Proto Bell, and then he'll have another recipe item, which basically means that he's almost a support. Because when you're playing the support champion, because of the support item changes, you can almost keep up.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what this Nautilus is going to do down here. This was read by SANDBOX as Olaf is here on fleek, looking to turn it, and now Faker's just backing. He's getting out of here, and on fleek is going in. He's not messing around. He's hitting everybody with every single axe, and he's just lining them up and taking them down. Teddy, oh boy, going to be the last one to go down there, as this time around Leo picks up 2 kills. Getting revenge, and on fleek putting on a clinic in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and also on fleek getting these kills this early on, also while simultaneously out farming this Elise and now getting back to farming before her. And all of his camps are spawning perfectly. This Elise is pretty much out of the game. And look at top lane. This is sort of what I was talking about earlier on as well. Summit is already up 15 CS. In the Quinn Pantheon matchup soon. Summit's going to be level 6, and then he's going to start flying around the map and adding pressure. So everyone needs to be really scared. T1, they chose to draft fire versus fire, and they're losing with it right now. Now, they're taking an Ocean Dragon, and this isn't going to be the most impactful Drake early on. And
they're taking it extremely early, so they're going to get it rolling really quickly.
If an Infernal Dragon spawns next, though, Valdez, that's the dream for SANDBOX. They can just get a little bit of extra amplification and then have Ocean or Mountain end up coming. But instead, it's going to be a Mountain Drake.
Does mean our soul for the game. I like how we figured this out really early, but I want to just highlight this. They knew this was coming. Gorilla was checking the Tri-Brush for such a long time, and on fleek ran straight from Brace all the way down.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing here is that Orianna can't realistically get to this fight to add anything of value unless Nautilus would appear. But given how they were running away, and also just they should be able to track Faker through Fog of War and when he could arrive, had Dub stayed mid and just kept crashing waves and getting more value, he would have made out a little bit more there. Obviously, fortunately for T1, they didn't know that Faker was just in that brush just to the north of them. But right now, SANDBOX are just so far ahead inside of this game. They're definitely in the driver's seat.
I can see the Reddit comment right now. LS said Olaf was a bad jungler. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Last game, I'm sorry I couldn't predict the 5 members diving the tier 1 turret top.
Like everything today is just like not going according to plan.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Well,
it's all right.
We know that on fleek loves his Olaf, and he's doing his thing. He's doing his on fleek thing. As Faker, he's a little bit lost. He's not sure which direction to go. He's going to choose left.
Well, he doesn't really seem to know what he wants to do right now. He's freezing, and this is obviously a good option. Whenever you're Nautilus, whenever you're a melee, tanky, engage, hard CC type of champion in mid, you generally want to pull the wave if you're looking to set up ganks. You make the enemy laner overextend, you have more room to catch them even if they flash, and it's just good overall lane play. So right now, obviously nothing's going to be achieved. Elise was on the left-hand side, ended up recalling. Faker just tries to shove out, but you ask yourself the question right now, what is really different between this Nautilus and the support one? And I guess he would have an extra level currently. But outside of that, it's not really achieving all of that much. And SANDBOX just continues to be comfortable right now. Olaf Going to move back into power farming. I think he's even going to take the blue buff, it looks like. Maybe given that Orianna already has lost chapter. Never mind, it's going to be a handoff.
Yeah. Just right here at the last second, it looked like Dove wanted to push that one first. Just going to hand that one off as top lane still going really well for Summit. Bottom lane, even after the 2 kills, though, Leo has gotten behind on CS here by about 10, looks like 12 is going to be the number. Obviously, the 2 kills are going to make up for that, but either way, kind of interesting that he does get behind in this lane. I suppose right after that happened in the bottom side, the Elise immediately came bot side again and went over to that Drake, so perhaps the pressure was pushing them away. I'm curious to see how Summit is going to do as the game comes along, though. He's gotten another lane where he's going to get pretty far ahead without any pressure. We haven't seen Cuz go top even once, and so he's just been pushing it in and feeling pretty good about himself.
And the thing happening right now is Cuz he obviously knows where On Fleek. This is so bizarre. They know that On Fleek must be around.
Yeah.
Not bothering to try to find him exactly, but failed to actually kill that. And Leo is actually strutting up to this Rift Herald, so we're going to see how this ends up working out. We got a team fight brewing.
Oh, they're engaging, too. This is going to be 5-on-4 for now.
And MF is almost here.
Oh, the smite going to go the way of T1. Effort hops in to get it, and he is out.
Oh.
Just like that, Roach might be forced to flash. He's going to be followed on over. Roach will be the sacrifice, and it doesn't look like T1 want to engage any further. So, yes, the Rift Herald goes down, and the kill, though, goes the way of SANDBOX. But more importantly, maybe they can even push in the mid lane and get some other objectives. Let's see what SANDBOX can do after picking up a kill. Well, looks like not much.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do that much. They also did expend quite a few summoners. Now, they should have priority to this Mountain Dragon as Quinn is soaring right up to the top lane. I think they're just going to... No, okay. Thought they were just about to blindly start it. You can see Pantheon, though, with his R. He's moving over, and maybe SANDBOX won't anticipate this. Now, if you're SANDBOX, you acknowledge that Rakan, Xayah, Elise, and Pantheon aren't going to really be building any resistances. This is not worth losing the game over. Your Quinn can get hundreds of gold up in top.
Roach is going in there kind of alone. Is not going to be able to block that. A big team fight. Wombo combo does come in. Leo now hopping the wall looking for more as the feathers will be pulled back. It is just going to be the 1 kill on the Pantheon for now. As that Q was so close to taking out Teddy. As from the top lane, Summit soared down. It looks like he's still chasing, actually. Looking to get in here. All alone is going to find Cuz, and his teammates left him alone. All right, looking to get up in the air. One last shot is going to do it. Faker here, and should be able to take down Summit, and looking for potentially more. But no, just going to take that trade at the end of the day. Dove pushing the mid lane. Didn't look like he got a plate or anything as,
That's really nice. They managed to actually save the red. But it did cost them both teleports. They did trade 1 for 1. They did end up killing Summit at the very end there. And also, an interesting thing. All right, so we take a look at how this is all happening. Faker, for some reason, moves in on Olaf, and then Roach ultimates in. And the whole thing is just really clunky. We've seen this from them in every single game, that they're all on different pages with what they're trying to achieve. And it's always Faker at the front line. In game 1, it was him on the Mordekaiser, trying to do stuff.
Perhaps a little bit of growing pains with some new members in the roster. Just struggling with some communication and exactly when to go in. We know that Faker has a good feeling, a good feel on the game and exactly when to get in there, but perhaps just, not working too well with his teammates just yet. We'll have to see how that develops as the year comes along. As now kind of in an interesting spot here, SANDBOX still ahead by about 2,500 gold at 13 minutes in the game, so not a half bad lead for this early on.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about this as well, if you're a T1 fan, is that Cloud Dragon isn't the best soul, obviously. If you're SANDBOX, you would love to get 4 Infernals and then get a soul. If you're T1, you would like to get Infernal Dragon souls as well. But Cloud, it does actually benefit a lot of champions in this game. It's not every day that you get so many champs that can actually benefit from a Cloud soul, but we're talking about Quinn, Olaf, Orianna, Leona, Pantheon, Nautilus, Rakan. There's so many champs that synergize with this. It's really rare.
I mean, you just have a lot of engage in general, so those engage ultimates are going to be big. Faker kind of caught up here. They're trying to turn it, though, onto the Leona. Mainly Squishy is just going to go down. Ultimate now coming down onto MF, trying to disengage on Fleek. Not able to do much alone after the knockup comes in. Ooh, that dredge line. Skimming the skirt of the MF. Not going to land, though. A Summit again kind of wanted to rotate down to the bottom side. Not quite able to get there on time.
And Pantheon, meanwhile, just casually doing his thing up in top lane. And so SANDBOX getting a little bit sloppy with some decisions. You can see Leona coming over here, goes on to the Rakan, but then doesn't really have anything to follow this up. Had she been able to live, lock up the Nautilus, he for sure would have went down. But a little bit overeager with that engage, perhaps not paying attention to the Nautilus that was running down through River. So 3,000 gold lead is the score right now for SANDBOX. There is some resistances on the side of T1 right now, but Blade of the Ruined King completed for Quinn now. And we're going to be in a little bit of a lull state, Valdez. So what would you like to talk about? What are you going to have for dinner tonight?
I'm not sure. We might be ending a little bit late today. We start at 5, and now it's 8:30. So T1, if they come back in this one, we have another one. We might have one of those 11 p.m. nights or 10 p.m. nights if it does go the full distance. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I don't know. Maybe some bulgogi.
Nah, I've had enough. All right. Let's get back to watching what is transpiring here inside of this game. 21 seconds until the Cloud Dragon ends up coming up. GLP on Orianna. This has been getting done a lot more. Whoa!
Oh. Looks like that actually wasn't going to land there on a Cuz, as I believe he went up into the repel right after. Either way, is able to get away from any further damage. Dove was on a mission to make that happen. As Cloud Drake coming up here. Big objective for both of these teams.
Now, the question is, will T1 play this team fight out?
Oh, boy.
Okay, well.
Right on a ward goes in Gorilla. Is able to flash away. Now we got the Wombo combo a bit coming in here. But again, no shockwave, as Dove did use it earlier on, trying to combo onto Teddy. Here comes on Fleek, trying to get into the back line. He is going to be able to shut down the AD carry of T1. And the two of them, at least, are going to be able to get over on that blast plant. But that's just about it, as they find Teddy finally in the back line.
Yeah, and they managed to save themselves the current game state. They're going to reward themselves with the Cloud Dragon. They're still 3 away, though, from the Cloud Dragon soul. So Olaf ends up picking himself up yet another kill. SANDBOX continue to just maintain the 3,000 gold advantage right now inside of this game. But remember, this fight was started without Orianna having her ultimate. So the positioning and everything for T1 is going to get a lot harder because all of their champions have to go in. They have to go in to 500 range, melee, and once that starts happening, Orianna and Misfortune are going to have a field day unless T1 manages to get a pick.
Well, they've been pretty good on their picks so far. Effort, oh boy, trying to clear out some vision there takes a huge chunk of damage. They might have to give up Shirley after that engage. The two Cousin Faker are doing Shirley, and the other efforts alone over the wall. Definitely not the best coordination there. Roach, meanwhile, is by himself in the bottom side. Quinn going for a bit of a rotation. Of course, no teleport on the Quinn, just has the cleanse to get out of any kind of engage or anything like that, but extremely fast in her roams around the map.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point in the game, it should just end up going a bit stale. We're going to enter into a lull state. I know this is the most exciting part of the game for you, Valdez.
Yeah, I love lull states.
Yeah.
But we're going to put the lull state on hold, as, in fact, Shirley says no to that for now. They're going to make a move here on the Tier 1, and, well, Shirley went in a little bit too early.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shirley was early. Feels bad, as they really got basically not much value. I mean, it zoned the enemy team out a bit, but that's just about it. So it helped in the push.
And so now we'll just go back to passively farming. Everyone wants to get their second core item completions. Now, I'm not sure if Orianna is going to go into Zanya's Hourglass second, or if she'll just end up going Banshee's Veil. As we take a look at the fight from a couple of moments ago, Faker lands the hook, chain onto the Leona, didn't quite have the damage to kill, didn't chain all the CC completely perfect, and so the members ended up getting divided. So much damage went down onto Teddy from Dove, and that gave OnFleek the opening that he needed to just cast his ult and charge. And so, yeah, we're I mean, it's almost a 4,000 gold lead as the game continues to passively go on.
Yeah, Dove and OnFleek proving to be a duo that seemingly have no problems with communication or coordination going in together, essentially holding hands on the Olaf and the Orianna. Making quick work of the Xayah there. This time around, Teddy not experiencing the same kind of game as he did the last time. Faker just dredge line into the tower. He might be dead. The blind, though, hit the minions, and now he's turning it around. And, in fact, Summit is going to have to vault away from that one. Here comes Effort. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, two people are just pushing down there. T1 a little bit slow on the trigger to take out this turret. They will eventually, it seems, but SANDBOX with two in the mid lane, looking to get position there.
And at this point, MF is just getting so big right now. Now, the fortunate thing, however, is that Olaf, as each minute passes, becomes less and less of a champion. It is, it's sort of like a really weird debuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't even, it's like Windows rot or something.
Minutes go by.
Olaf has Windows rot. It's actually installed in his code.
Oh, God.
It's somewhere in the Riot spaghetti. That is, it's definitely what's happening here.
I think we've seen, now OnFleek has played a lot of Olaf, okay? In spring and summer, and since whenever they came in, I believe it was spring of 2019. We can finally say last year, by the way, and not get it wrong. He's played a lot of Olaf, and I think I've only seen him be really useful in the late game once when he went like 7-0. Big engage here, as, well, wasn't that big. Now they're going to get one onto Roach. That's a big stun coming on in there. Teddy trying to trade on back, but can't quite put out the damage. Lots of skirmishing and poking back and forth as this dragon is coming up. Faker looking for the angle, is going to find the Leona, but trying to turn onto Dove, and actually that ultimate doesn't come out, and they're turning it around. SANDBOX going to get in there. The bullet time does a lot of damage, but it is now 4-on-3, and SANDBOX are coming on in. Triple kill so far for OnFleek. And he's looking for more. The TP, don't think that's going to work for you, buddy. The quadra kill, and this is going to be a penta
on Olaf.
It's going to happen just as you say it, LS. Penta on Olaf comes out. I can't believe you're casting a game where this happens, but you made it happen. The true caster curse, or the caster boon, comes out as you make it happen. Big penta here for OnFleek, as, man, this guy is a monster.
Oh, man. The Orianna Zanya's Hourglass was so fantastic. Beautiful Orianna Shockwave as well. And then at this point, Teddy, he just doesn't have any coverage. And you know what? If there's one champion I'm fine seeing dogged down by Olaf, it's Nautilus. As Faker tries to channel the TP, and then Teddy just accepts his fate as Bertha watches on. And then they end up getting the second Cloud Dragon of the game for them. So 6,000 gold lead is the advantage currently for SANDBOX.
Oh, and so much of that gold is in the sweet pockets of our boy Olaf, who is just stacking it up. Legendary now is on fleek. 8-0-2. I'm so glad you got to cast this game, LS.
So
okay.
I want to point some.
No, you're not going to get a chance here, as Faker forced to try to turn this into something. Didn't even bother to use that that ultimate as well. I'm going to use that speed from the jungle to move on into the Baron now. And from a place of massive winning right now is SANDBOX, trying to zone him out, getting that vision from the Quinn. Effort, buddy. I don't think you're going to be able to steal this one. Might as well just walk away. Just walk away. Don't do it, as the Baron comes in. 24 minutes into the game, SANDBOX running away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, things are just completely spiraled out of control. Teddy is going to try whatever he can here to just counter jungle as much as possible. He better be careful that Summit doesn't see these feathers and then mount a...
Oh, he did. He saw it.
Well, not going to be able to do anything. They're going to respect the Fog of War from T1's red side jungle, but with Baron, I mean, it's going to be near impossible. T1 has 3 champions that basically don't exist at this point. This is essentially a support Nautilus. That's what it really is at this point. You can see Faker.
We return to the Nautilus question.
So he's up a few base levels, which makes him more innate, has more innate tankiness. But then you have Pantheon, who he's received several nerfs over the last couple of patches. And the fundamental problem with the team composition is when it's behind, it doesn't have other modes. So there's no real clear comeback mechanic that they have, because their champions need to just fight up against MF and Orianna, and they just can't.
Yeah, I mean, we already got a pretty good prelude to that in the previous fight, where the Orianna just made the Nautilus look silly. The perfect Zanya's timing into the ultimate to allow On Fleek to do the rest, as when you're on the run, Olaf can be good. When you're this far ahead and the Olaf is stacking up the kills and you're not able to attack him, essentially. And that's a lot of ifs, of course, that need to go right. And this is that you guys are witnessing it with us. The one in perhaps 2,000 or 3,000 games that the Olaf really pops off in this manner. Yeah. Well, T1 rotating on a bit of a desperate attempt to catch the Quinn. And what ends up happening is that they lose 2 turrets, essentially, in the span of 30 seconds, because they're all out of position for mid. Quick move into there. 4 members chip away at that one. Quinn then moves in, takes out the top side tier 2. And there you have it. So using this Baron pretty well. It is going to go down. They don't get any inhibitors, but again, it's still relatively early on in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, it's going to be a 3rd Cloud Dragon going the way of SANDBOX. And then T1, they still have 5 minutes until the Soul comes up, but the next Baron is going to be the real doozy. The good thing, though, is that they can take solace in knowing that Olaf is basically done scaling for the remainder of this game. He'll end up picking up, I assume, a Guardian Angel as his next item, but even when he revives, it doesn't really do anything when he comes out of the revive. It's just a way to, I guess, add an extra thorn in T1's side. But Quinn is still scaling, Orianna is still scaling, Misfortune is still scaling, even Leona is actually still scaling because she gets access to Knight's Vow, then she gets to go Locket of the Iron Solari, and these are actually 2 items that do ruin T1's day. So it's not a very good feeling when, for the next 10 minutes, the SANDBOX team composition, they get more valuable items that allows them to continue to flourish better as a team than your champions do. I mean, you look right now at Nautilus, he has a Warden's Mail. What is he going to pick up that really changes how Nautilus conducts himself in a team fight? Nothing. Elise already has a Void Staff, so she's already on low econ and her teammates are getting her jungle camp. She doesn't get any CS, so she's done. Pantheon has Black Cleaver and Sterix. What is he really going to get that makes you go, wow, Pantheon's online? Pretty much nothing. And so the only champion that is still of any relevance on T1 is Teddy. So this is really a 4 versus 1 game at this point that is heavily stacked in SANDBOX's favor.
Especially now that we are nearing the 30-minute mark. All those scaling champs are coming online. And this isn't Teddy that went legendary at essentially 15 minutes into the game like we saw in game number 3. This is a totally different situation. He is behind the MF, essentially, who is going to be looking to pick up some more items when he does go back. And so will be interesting to see if he can actually make it happen. Down 10,000 gold now at 30 minutes is T1. Certainly not the outcome we were thinking was going to happen here at the KeSPA Cup semifinals first day. We got to see T1 get through Genji and make it happen in 3 games. It wasn't, a sweep or anything like that, but it was pretty strong. And then we saw SANDBOX look good against Griffin, but Griffin didn't look all that good as Cuz, okay. Nice little dodge here, but now they're engaging. In goes on Fleek. And everybody's just grouping up in there, but they're all able to disengage, in fact, for the bullet time. Doesn't do all that much damage, trying to interrupt that one, but now it's all up to Teddy. He's going to get slowed up, has to go up into the Featherstorm to get away from that one. And so they have effectively avoided a fight, which I suppose is one positive. Ooh.
This Quinn is moving so fast.
Especially in the jungle.
Yeah. And T1, I mean, they're honestly pulling out some impressive resilience so far in this game. 1.5 or 2 minutes, actually, until the Cloud Soul ends up coming up. And yeah, there's the Guardian Angel on Olaf. He's not really going to get anything else, so what we see in the replay is pretty much what you're going to get from Olaf for the rest of the game. And the only reason that he even got to this point was because of that pentakill. So yeah, he's been the same champion for about 11 minutes. He does roughly the same damage. He's not getting any insane stat boosts or anything that's really changing his dynamic. So now T1, they might have to funnel in. And the issue here is that the Cloud Dragons are providing such short cooldowns on everything. It's very difficult to win dances. On Fleek tanking a lot of damage, though.
Oh, looking for the engage now into the back line. They find Cuz. The bullet time not really getting that damage done, though. Gorilla in an awkward spot. Gonna be burst down. They still haven't killed Cuz. Somehow he's still alive, and now the GA is gonna go down. But thankfully, SANDBOX have a lot of Fed members in their lineup. They're able to trade at least 1 kill back onto Faker. As Summit looking for it, at least trying to stop the back. Wants to get a couple of autos and maybe a vault. Not quite able to do that, though. 2 members now on the Baron.
On Fleek is solo.
Is he just going to get speared here by Roach? Slowed down. There's the shield. Getting extremely low. Big shockwave. Gonna catch them all. And finally, they put them all in the Pokeball as Dove is going to take them all down. And that should be the end of this one, as everybody's going to go down on the side of T1. SANDBOX with the Baron, look to push down mid.
And SANDBOX, I mean, they need to feel really good about themselves here in this match. They end up taking down T1 3-1. What could have been a 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, had they not just totally thrown in game number 3. And I mean, it's a very good showing. I think no one expected this.